Currently Kirkland, your source for city news and events in the community. With Connie Terman at the news desk. Stay up to date with weekly news reports and what's happening in Kirkland. Now, here's Connie.
Hi, I'm Connie Terman, and welcome to this edition of Currently Kirkland. Every week we're here with the latest in what's happening in our town. Last week, 9 business and land use experts scrutinized the city's vision for Totem Lake. And after hours of study on July 20th, the Urban Land Institute panel largely endorsed that vision of a mixed-use, higher-density urban community. But that endorsement came with 3 main caveats. Be patient with the economy, relax your regulations a little, and start now with a series of public investments. For further analysis, we'll now turn to Christian Knight.
The economy, panelists said, was the most daunting issue. It has refocused much of Puget Sound's new development on Seattle and to some extent Bellevue. This was true, the panel said, for new apartment construction, fashion, retail, office space, and sit-down restaurants.
First, we think there's a lot of potential in the area. You're just a creature of the economy, the national economy, the local economy. It's going to take time. The policy decision is kind of, do you just sit tight? I know everyone wants to see something happen. Do you wait for things to turn around, or do you kind of try and take smaller bites and smaller steps and maybe compromise some of your long-term vision, but still do something that fits?
The time and place are right, however, for lunchtime eateries to expand, the panelists said. And if a movie theater opens in the neighborhood, residents can expect sit-down restaurants to follow. Within the decade, anchor stores such as Target and Best Buy should start filling commercial space. And those second-tier anchors will attract smaller retail shops.
We all feel this is a very strong market. The question is when, what's the timing, and how does the city and the people who live here, the business owners, feel about, interim uses, how long do you want to wait for something to happen?
Rather than wait on the economy and private enterprise, the panel recommended a series of small steps. Get control of the Burlington Northern Santa Fe rail corridor, evaluate and possibly relax some of the zoning and building regulations in the area, and do something with Totem Lake. These are targets the city has been pursuing since last September, when the City Council asked each of Kirkland's departments to find a way of prioritizing the Totem Lake neighborhood. And each of the departments has responded. Public Works, for example, is focusing on the neighborhood's flooding troubles and connecting Northeast 120th Street to Northeast 124th Street. Planning is reevaluating its zoning and building regulations, and the Parks Department is exploring ways to turn the lake into a regional landmark. One of the most important steps the city could take in the short term is to acquire the 5.5 miles of Burlington Northern Rail Corridor that connects the South Kirkland Park and Ride to Totem Lake.
So could this be the region's first dedicated electric vehicle right-of-way? And I'm not thinking like Tesla Roadster here. I'm thinking more like golf cart or electric bikes, mopeds, Segways.
We think the trail really makes a ton of sense, not only for Totem Lake, but for Kirkland itself. It creates lots of opportunities. It should create lots of nodes and lots of places things can happen, both short-term and long-term. And we realize there's challenges working with Sound Transit and the county and all these agencies, but it seems like there would be a good payoff there.
The city has been exploring the purchase of the 100-foot wide corridor with the Port of Seattle and King County. City Council members and city staff believe the corridor has the ability to relieve some of the city's north-south traffic congestion, provide for an alternate mode of transportation, and paired with an enhancement to the lake itself, create a neighborhood destination. To capitalize on the lake, however, the city would have to deepen it, widen it, and acquire property surrounding it. It would have to create a central attraction where children could play, or where people on lunch could toss a frisbee. The effort, the panel said, would require the full force of the city's will, but it could pay off.
Given its proximity to the trail, that the proper redevelopment of this could make this whole area, kind of an oasis along that trail where you can get off and enjoy that, as you're bicycling up and down the corridor.
City staff will be presenting the Institute's findings to City Council on August 2nd. The Council at that point will direct staff to revise the work plan, if necessary, and then proceed.
Thank you for that report, Christian. Cats were wise to steer clear of Juanita Beach Park last Saturday. As many as 1,000 freedom-loving dogs converged on the grassy field to venture on a community dog walk, compete in relays, high jump, and flying disc competitions.
Fly ball.
Fly ball.
Yes.
Cool. What's involved to get trained for this?
About 6 weeks to get them to just do the basics, and then extensive training after that.
And so when do they go and compete?
They go and compete, and it's a 4-dog relay team. And the first dog goes down, the second dog can't go until the first dog's nose crosses the start line.
The flying disc event, known nationwide as Wolf D Squared, was a Harlan Globetrotter version of playing frisbee with your dog. Just 28 people had registered for the dog walk on Friday before the event. The next morning, however, more than 80 showed up. Of course, the third annual Go Dog Go Festival wasn't all about athletics. It showed some appreciation for the arts as well. Pooches competed to give the best smooches, to wear the best costumes, to resemble their owners, and dance. Many of the dogs, however, were there just to sniff around and enjoy the freedom. And they came from all around. The festival attracted people from Seattle, Granite Falls, Yelm, and even Battleground, more than 2 hours away. Event organizers say more than 2,000 people showed up this year, an undeniable uptick from last year.
I think it's fantastic. We just moved here to Kirkland from Portland 2 weeks ago, and already we've noticed that this is like probably 20 times more of a dog town than any place we've ever lived or conceived of. So the dogs are in seventh heaven. If they're not getting loved on, then there's events like this going on for them. So this is fantastic.
Most of the disc catching, relay running, and pooch smooching occurred on the north side of the park. Next Friday, however, nearly all of the Juanita Beach Park's property will be available for frisbee throwing, swimming, and horsing around. Juanita Beach Park will be open by 3 p.m. on August 5th. Visitors will have access to most of the park's features, including its barbecue grills, swimming beach, and trails. However, some areas of the park are still too sensitive for foot traffic. Areas with recently planted grass, sod-in seed, and thousands of plants will continue to be off limits to the public. After the opening, crews will intensify their focus on rehabilitating the wetlands on the west side of the park. Construction crews have started preventative maintenance on 6 city streets: Forbes Creek Drive, 132nd Avenue Northeast, Lake Washington Boulevard, 98th Avenue Northeast, 111th Avenue Northeast, and Northeast 52nd Street. Preparatory work has already started on each of these streets. Watch for signage or check the website for updates and more specific construction schedule information. At times, parking will be limited near the maintenance zones. The life cycle of a street can be extended substantially if crews repair it before the street enters its final stage, when it rapidly deteriorates. This is why every year the city identifies the streets in urgent need of repair. Remember, you can access any episode of Currently Kirkland on demand on the city's website, on your mobile device, and on YouTube. We'd also love to hear from you. If you have any news tips, suggestions, or comments, please send them to kirklandtv@kirklandwa.gov. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.